I hope you're mad. You should choke me up. You're trained. You got a black belt. I picked a fight. Who have I picked a fight with? You want to fight me? I'm actually pretty wild.
Liver King has become liver failure, and his current crash out is reminiscent of one of Kanye's many crash outs where he's clearly lost his mind and everyone around him turns into an enabler. On June 19th, he posted this video to his Instagram looking like he just tried to fight a tree. Unfortunately, the remnants left on his body are not an olive branch, or else he could have avoided what happened the following week.
Austin police arrested a social media influencer
known as the Liver King, is accused of making threats against podcaster and comedian Joe Rogan.
Austin police arrested 47-year-old Brian Johnson at the Four Seasons Hotel yesterday evening.
Liver King was trying a new strategy to get on a popular podcast by trying to fight the host. Stephen A. Smith tried the same thing earlier this year to get on LeBron's podcast, and it didn't work out so well.
More importantly, I'm picking a fight with Joe Rogan. I'm picking a fight, I am, because it's out of principle. I'm not gonna go fight with this guy. Do you see? I don't know, hopefully you can see. Liver King challenging the man, Joe Rogan, to a fight.
Joe Rogan has a black belt in BJJ, and Liver King doesn't wear a belt, so this would go about as well as Jake Paul beating up on a TikTok kid. Maybe he was thinking he could sneak up on Joe Rogan with this flawless reenactment of Andy Serkis playing the monkeys in Planet of the Apes. Furthering his cosplay as an ape, Liver King doesn't even use the toilet like a human.
In case you didn't know, I take shits on the ground. This is where I lay in the shower. I lay here on the ground. That's my enema bucket. That's my enema bucket right there.
I think it was Sun Tzu who wrote to fear the man who lives in a $10 million mansion and shits in his shower, for he has morphed into an ape.
And I'm like, why would I ever wear white? That's ridiculous. I'm gonna wear it after I beat your ass, Joe Rogan. I had one.
This kind of rift usually happens because the other guy screwed his wife, but this situation was much simpler. It's 2025, guys. Liver King just wanted to get on a popular podcast.
One of them came up to me in Vegas.
Oh, really?
Yeah, one of my security guards stopped him. He was like, I'm a producer for the Liver King. I'm like, what do you produce? What are you producing?
Like, how many UFC events did he try and kind of like cozy up?
He was front row at one of my shows in Vegas.
Oh, damn.
At the MGM. And then I saw him again at the Canelo fight. He was trying really hard to get on the podcast. And he's been trying really hard to get on now. He contacted a few friends of mine. You ran a con game and you got busted.
I'll be ready whenever you're ready. Whenever you're ready. Or you can release me of this fight, and you can just welcome me right onto the show tomorrow.
Liver King looks like a character in The Lord of the Rings, so maybe he just needs to deliver something to Joe in order to finalize his quest. What made this story escalate is that Liver King then started saying he was going to visit Austin, Texas, which is where Joe Rogan lives.
And I'm going to take my whole family with me to Austin. Guess what, family? 4 o'clock.
Being on Joe Rogan's podcast can be career-changing, so I think some people would argue trying to extort Joe is a risk worth taking.
I'll accept $1 million from him to be invited.
I'm pretty confident asking for money to stop threatening someone is the definition of extortion.
We're gonna make Joe Rogan pay, Big Chud, one of us, both of us. And I'm gonna make the other sleazy Dirk, what's his name? And then he's gonna be a better man.
I think what we're seeing is a man who's clearly having a mental breakdown exacerbated by the feeling of waning fame. Additionally, he's likely a massive narcissist who struggle with handling failures of their own accord. Having millions of people see his faults in a Netflix documentary likely destroyed his ego. I finally found a way to send you all updates on stories I've made videos on in the past and keep you up to date on all the funniest and most enjoyable stories you'll want to know about. I created a free email newsletter called Clown Court, where we'll make fun of all the chief clown officers getting arrested and sued, and also try to add in some education so we can all understand the law a little better for free. Easy sign up down in the description. Do it right now.
Joe Rogan, bro. Just invite me on.
Liver King seems more prepared for Burning Man, a place he'd love since they don't judge for drug use.
Joe Rogan, I'm calling you out. My name's Liver King. Man to man. I'm picking a fight with you.
Can someone explain what in the HGH is going on with his stomach and belly button? This looks like he ate a turtle shell and his belly button is the turtle head ready to pop out. If Joe Rogan were still hosting Fear Factor, he could offer a challenge to the contestants to smell Liver King and not puke. I'm not confident any of them would succeed. He later mentions that he was called the Lying King and also throws shade at Netflix and the director for lying about him. This seems like a narcissistic collapse where his ego can't handle the fact that everyone knows he lied to grow his brand. Hey guys, Walter White has made a comeback, but is now selling blue chewing gum that immediately turns you into a manic HGH dope fiend. A few hours later, he posts this of him getting into his Mercedes in what appears to be a cavalry of vehicles heading to Austin. Joe Rogan was probably shitting in his enema cup seeing this.
You can't buy this kind of stuff. Their serial numbers, not replicatable, not reproducible kind of stuff. Presents like that, Joe Rogan, that's how we do it in Texas, you know?
Joe certainly would show up to fight if Morgan Freeman were there opening up the box, but thankfully there are only 12 tenants for the Liver King and not just 7.
Real tension I have with you. Real beef. It's a real fight, yeah. And there comes bearing see if I can, you want to see just a little.
During this little episode, he felt it was appropriate to film all parts of his day, including something that should probably be done in private.
I'm actually finishing up a shit right now, and I was communicating, explaining myself, which I do a lot of lately, to another person about my time and how I spend it. How much money do you make?
The last time I was this enthralled with someone sitting on a toilet was watching Hank in Breaking Bad.
Record anything and everything. Because Joe Rogan, we don't have to make videos to pretend anymore. All of this is happening. We're coming to you. I've challenged you man to man to a fight. Honorable.
This post has 35,000 likes and likely millions of views. The funny thing is Liver King could go live in the Austin Zoo and you just think they were trying to recreate a Neanderthal living amongst the animals.
And you're a black belt, but you've never come across something like this. Willing to die, hoping that you'll choke me out. I pray to God, because that's a dream come true. It feels good.
Joe doesn't even need to choke him out. If kicks are allowed, it's over in 8 seconds. Not even Liver King's turtle shell abs can absorb those kicks without bending over in agony.
Just pulling up to the capital of Texas. Guess what? You're dead, bitch. You're dead. You're dead.
I imagine high-profile celebrities have to deal with lunatics all the time, and the threat of them showing up at your house, this has to be the #1 biggest downside for being a household celebrity name. Joe was probably at his house, and his wife was asking him about his day. Hold on, babe, Liver King just dropped another post. Let me confirm he isn't on his way to our house right now.
Those are the ancestral tenets, the real ones, not the one that you made up about sunning your butthole. That was the imaginary one that you were hoping was on the list.
This dude will do anything for attention, so him teaching his kids to point their buttholes towards the sky is still on my bingo card.
Good morning, primals. This is Mr. Enema Bucket. That's coffee, Keon coffee, the best kind, so I can drink some of the coffee both ways.
Before watching this video, I thought there was only one way you could consume coffee, but thanks to Liver King, I now start my days by shooting caffeine straight into my booty hole. By the time of posting this, a lot of people were following along, waiting just minutes for every update on his pursuit of fighting Joe Rogan. It was the next post that escalated the story pretty quickly.
I'm now recording while dealing with the cops outside.
God damn, this took a while.
Liver King and his family were staying at the Four Seasons in downtown Austin. At this point, I imagine Joe Rogan's security team had escalated the threat level enough to warrant police intervening.
So can I have 12 minutes to just finish my actual shit? I did 4 coffee enemas this morning. My intestines don't work like yours.
After the police took Liver King, his wife, Liver Queen, was filmed walking out to the car. I caught something interesting said here.
Rogan's guys are gone.
My assumption is that Joe had a security team and they went to Liver King's location to ensure he didn't leave the Four Seasons.
Some guy, he thought if you just put him in jail, have the Violent Crimes Division, have them come arrest him for a terroristic threat. And the whole time that terroristic threat you thought was a bomb or something inside that box was actually a present back for you.
Telling a guy you're showing up to a city to fight him and one of your videos is you holding weapons while having a wolf head over yours should be taken pretty seriously. If Seth Rogen, if you have any cousins or brothers or uncles that are black belts in jiu-jitsu trained, I would love a man to man, just a man to a
man challenge you to a fight, an honorable fight. Nobody's gonna die.
Part of the lore of his content this past week was saying Seth Rogen instead of Joe. This was Seth Rogen all week watching Liver King's post calling him out. He even created merch with the JRE podcast logo on it versus Liver King. If this were the 2017 era of YouTube, I think his merch would have outsold Jake Paul and Logan Paul's beef.
I just blew it out. I should have got that one on there, right? That looks kind of cool. I was like, let's do it again. King time.
I promise you, this guy is as close to a Neanderthal as humanly possible. I have a feeling the Four Seasons staff wants nothing to do with this clown ever again. One of my top 10 favorite movies of all time is Requiem for a Dream, and his appearance right here feels identical to Ellen Burstyn's character in that movie, where you feel like you're watching someone's descent into madness. His drug of choice was fame and validation, and the withdrawal period is reminiscent of her going through her addiction phase. Ballerbusters and True Law Firm posted the arrest warrant to Instagram. In case you didn't hate him enough, here's another reason.
Cut it the f*** out.
If this is what gets posted, imagine what doesn't get posted. Now that Liver King is back at home and his quest to fight Joe Rogan appears to have ended, he at least gave a good effort to fool people into thinking he got on the podcast. Someone in the comments said he found a Temu Joe Rogan, and I thought that was the funniest thing I've read all day. Sign up for my free email newsletter called Clown Court now, or else the Liver King is going to blow his load all over your iPhone. Thanks for watching.